What is going on YouTube? Chino here, welcome back to the channel. Today is the day we're finally going to cut the figurative red tape and I can declare my channel open for business. Now I know there's been a little bit of a delay and I do apologize to anyone who's had either financial or emotional investment in this project. And I do apologize for the radio silence. It's probably gone on a little bit longer than anticipated. But I have to say it was all for the best, and I had to overcome some obstacles. I had to get, obviously, my health in an area where I felt comfortable working on this project on a daily basis, but I also had to overcome some technical issues, and I had to get this studio up and running and in sort of a state where it was going to be operational every single day. We're going to do a quick wrap up of everything that's been going on. We'll talk a little bit about what's happening behind the scenes, and then we'll do the unveiling of the PC, the talk of the entire fundraising project, and the machine that will be running the channel for us. Then we'll talk about the channel itself and what you can expect from me, and then I might ask you guys for a bit of a favor as well. So the studio, well, I guess a big focal point of the studio is what you see behind me, my backdrop. And these guys are actually pop vinyl figurines. They've taken the world by storm. They're in retailers everywhere. And essentially, a lot of nerds like to collect them. And even people who aren't nerds I've seen have them as well. I started collecting these before I met my wife. I only had a few at the time. And she thought they were really cool. And we started to collect them together. I really don't think we anticipated the collection to become a bit of an infatuation, but what you see behind me is over 300 of them. Essentially, they're just figurines of characters that have pop culture references, and of all of them, my favorite are the ones that are on the very top shelf, and they're the Star Wars ones, because my wife and I absolutely love Star Wars, and everything around Star Wars we indulge in together. Outside of that, we've had some of the technical issues that I spoke about were actually inside of the studio, including sound. This room being such a large room with a lot of echo and no carpeting was an issue. We threw up some more furniture, including the backdrop here, some acoustic foam on the walls, and upgraded the microphone, which I'll show you when I show you the computer. And I think the studio is now sort of at a point where I can use it on a daily basis and not have to really stress about moving anything around. And I can just make minor adjustments to things like the lighting, which I do apologize for, and obviously just those adjustments will happen as the channel grows. Alright, so here's the setup. In the middle you'll find a very necessary Odin, that's his name, and just behind the monitors there is some of the sound foam that I've put in there to get rid of some of the distortion and echo. You'll probably see Odin in a lot of my videos because he just basically doesn't let me do anything without following me around. But yeah, this is a dual monitor setup, which is quite important when you're editing. I think having an extra screen for streaming and editing and things like that is super important. The big one in the middle actually has some issues, but I've managed to get it up and running for the time being. Hopefully I don't have to upgrade that anytime really soon. But here is the tower, and this tower is actually one that I've loved for a really long time, and I'm so glad I was able to choose it for my build. But this is the combination of all the finances that you guys have put together through donations, as well as a little bit of finance from my wife and myself as well. And look, don't worry about all the fancy lights and things like that. I chose a computer that will handle anything I throw at it, and all the parts that are inside of this computer are there because they are required to do a certain job. So the microphone that you're seeing here, this is the swing arm shock mount setup with the Blue Yeti microphone, and the idea of this setup is so that you don't get too much sounds coming from the tapping and vibrations from the desk. This is pretty crucial when it comes to a microphone like this because it's not really a directional microphone. It'll pick up on a lot of sounds everywhere. And I was having problems with the sound setup and with the actual microphone that was there earlier. So I'm really glad I was able to pick this up within the build as well. And this is going to help me with a lot of streaming and a lot of voiceovers and things like that throughout building videos for my channel. So looking inside, I do apologize for all the reflection. It's going to be something that I won't be able to avoid completely picking up on. But that spinning light, the circle that you see there, that's the CPU, and that's the brains of the operation when it comes to a computer. I'm not going to bore you all with too many specs, but what I will say is that CPU I picked very specifically for this sort of work. The PC is completely designed around this CPU, and it's designed to handle things like rendering and multitasking where a lot of CPUs fail. And I didn't just get one that's good for video games, I got one that's good for absolutely everything. And throughout all the testing that I've done for it, it has handled it very, very well. The graphics card is one of the best on the market, and I've popped 32 gig of RAM in there as well, with extra room for expansion in all of those areas, which is super important if I want to future-proof it and if I want to keep this computer for a long period of time, which I totally intend on doing. So what you're looking at now are all the boxes to the parts that I handpicked for this PC. The parts only include the tower and the components within the tower. It doesn't include things like the peripherals and the monitors and the microphone that you just saw then on the desk. But the total value of all the parts that I accumulated from this fundraiser is about $5,500 Australian dollars. And that is a lot. And truthfully, without the support and the help that I got through this fundraiser, and even a little bit of help outside the fundraiser, this dream would never have become a possibility, especially without the means of being able to earn money. And it really is a dream come true. And for you guys, it might just look like there's a microphone and a computer set up in a nifty desk. But to me, it is opportunity, and I really can't wait to dig deep and get into the channel and really grow and develop it. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. It really does mean a lot. Now stay tuned to the channel for all the content that I'm going to be uploading, and I'll see you around on the tube.